All right, guys.
All right, we have one more thing to do, and that is points scored and points allowed per game. We wanted to hit that on our statistical overview of USC here at the Voice of College Football. So I think most USC fans, most of the people in the chat are going to expect 40 points a game on average. But as I did mention earlier when Mark raised a specific point about cumulative stats from past seasons, last year, San Jose State, Nevada, Stanford, Arizona State, Colorado were the first 5 games. You know, easy to get to that 40 point per game average when that is your opening 5. This schedule is going to be difficult, and I don't think USC is going to get to 40. I'm thinking about 34, 35 points a game. But here's the thing. I'm sold on this defensive staff. I think this defense is going to do well, barring the one thing, which is the defensive line gets chewed up by attrition and injuries. If the defensive line stays relatively healthy, and there's tons of depth in the secondary, I think as long as the defensive line doesn't go to the infirmary a lot, I think USC is going to allow under 27 points per game. I think USC allows, I'm going to put it at 25. So USC scoring 34, allowing 25. And, you know, some people might think that I'm really selling this offense short, but I would reiterate against Penn State, you know, against Rutgers on what is a Friday night game. And like Rutgers has some physical guys. Like Rutgers is not a soft team. That's going to be a short week. You know, in the Big Ten, USC will have its moments on offense, but you're going to see, I think, the style of play become more conservative, more ball control on certain occasions. And Lincoln Riley is going to need to call games more geared toward ball control as we get into late October, early November. So I think the total offensive numbers are going to be pulled down, but I also think the defense is going to be right there. It's going to be ready to do a very good job. It'll be interesting because the past few years we've been thinking if the defense can give up fewer than 35, we know the offense is going to hit 40. This year, I don't think it's the same calculus. I think that if USC can average mid-30s and the defense can – I think USC makes the playoff if the defense can get down to 22, 21 points allowed per game. But I think it's going to be at 25, and USC goes 9-3 in accordance with those numbers.
Well, I mean, last year you had, what was it? I looked it up. I'm trying to look for it right now. But you had a situation where you had teams like Maryland giving up 22 points per game. I'm with you on the offense. I don't think we're going to score 40. It's not, you know, that Lincoln Riley always scores 40 or more, but I don't think we're as low as you. What'd you say? 30? What'd you say, Matt? 31, 32?
34. They're going to score 34. They're going to allow 25.
Yeah, I'm close to yours. I'm thinking we're probably looking more like 37, and then we're in that 22 range, because I don't think we're out of the top 50, because that puts you in the top 50. You know, I don't think we're outside the top 50. I just don't.
I would just say, I'm not going to say you're right or wrong. I'm just going to say if you give me USC scoring 37 and allowing 22, we're in the playoff.
Because here's why. The offenses are not like we saw in the Pac-12. They just are not going to be like that. They're not. And if you have the smash, run the ball, offense over here, we keep hearing, that's going to cut down on possessions. So even that means, you know, if you go slow and eat clock, by the way, the new clock rules, that the clock's just going to roll. So there's a big part of that. There's a big reason why most of the big, and not even great killer defenses in the Big Ten are in the top 50 in defense, is because of the offenses you face there. And so that's why my projection with Danton Lynn, the new system, brand new players, guys that were stars all around the country, and considerable upgrades at the coaching staff and positions, and the fact we're playing in the Big Ten against Big Ten offenses, there's no reason why SC can't hold teams under 22 points per game.
Kansas was 17th in the nation in scoring offense last year at 34.8, 17th in the country. So that's still a pretty elevated number. If USC finishes 17th in the nation in scoring offense, they should have a pretty damn good season. I can't really argue with Matt's numbers. I think they're, certainly if they go 37-22, offense and defense, I'm not saying
Sign me up. Sign me up.
That could happen. I would certainly take the over on 22. If I was a betting man, I would take the over even on 25, but reluctantly, I think I would go 25 points per game on USC's defense. Looking at their schedule here, I think they're going to be playing a lot of games in the high 20s against these defenses that they're facing. And the offenses that they're facing.
Who's the best quarterback we're going to face next year, you guys?
Best quarterback's going to be the best
Riley
quarterback's
Leonard.
probably Garrett Nussmeier is probably the best quarterback, or Drew Aller. We'll see.
Yeah.
Riley Leonard. We'll see what Dylan Raiola is once he's played 10 games. In game 10, he's a 5-star.
My point is we can talk about the Big Ten defenses all we want, but then we got to talk about the Big Ten offenses as well.
We are. We're talking about both.
So the grand scheme of things, the reason why we're not scoring over 40 is because the game's going to be slowed down. What's slowed down? The possessions are slowed down for both teams as well.
Sure.
And so, therefore, with the improvements made, holding like us having the same, giving up the same amount of points on average that Maryland had last year, I don't think it's overstriding, guys. I really just don't. I don't think I'm overreaching whatsoever. So,
I would make this nuanced point about quality of quarterback that USC is going to face this season. If you just isolate Garrett Nussmeier versus Riley Leonard, give me Riley Leonard. I think Leonard's a better player. However, USC's playing Garrett Nussmeier in week 1, and that LSU offensive line is probably the best offensive line USC is going to face all season. So that puts Nussmeier in a position to succeed. But I think Riley Leonard's a better player. But USC gets Riley Leonard at the very end of the season when that defense, assuming it stays healthy, will have had so much time to come together, understand its roles. So, I think it's better that USC's playing LSU in the first game and Notre Dame in the last than the opposite. If USC was playing Notre Dame in the opener and LSU at the end of the season, that would be much worse than this. So
Notre Dame lost Joe Alt and they replaced him with a freshman tackle who subsequently got hurt. Now they're going through a backup freshman left tackle. And sure, yeah, he's got the whole season to get ready for him. And then LSU, their tackles are amazing. I hear their guards are pretty good, but they're starting a true, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe he's redshirt, but I know he's a freshman in his very first game at center. That's also very pivotal. But people, when we talk about the offensive line at LSU, keep kind of overlooking. That is a pivotal position. No, it's not on the road, but it's not a home game either. Allegiant Stadium's a small stadium, so if you have any type of fan base in that stadium, it gets loud. So that's something to remember as well.
College football is even more exciting with some action on the line. And the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Let's start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread. I've got a 40-year track record. In fact, in 2023, at $100 played per game, you would have netted over $9,300. And guess what? I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill, our ace in the hole, show stopper from Wager Talk. 6 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick, which went 21-5 against the spread the last 2 seasons. I repeat, 21-5 against the spread. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Steve Dace and Matt Zemek. Become a YouTube channel member or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2024 a winner now.